Yeah, I'm one of the few speakers, or as your co-moderator, who is not a lawyer, but it's my pleasure to introduce my fellow co-moderator, Mr. Tobias Natt. Tobias, you are coordinating the legal working group of the World Wind Energy Association. You're personally a lawyer by background as well, working in different positions as a lawyer in the sector of wind energy, but I know that your interest, your passion goes beyond wind energy in renewable energy in general. Tobias, I hand over to you to introduce the topic to us.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. Thank you for the flowers. Yeah, my name is Tobias Natt. I'm a lawyer from Germany. I'm working in the renewable energy business since 2006, and well, read a book from Hermann Scher in 1993, and since then I really like the renewable energy idea of decentralized power, and so that's the reason why we're here. Sean, could you please open my short presentation to start? So yeah, why we are here, because we have some decisions of courts regarding climate protection. We will speak today, I think, about the German Federal Constitutional Court, about a decision of a Dutch court, and also of an Australian court. Yeah, so the question for me was legal action to protect the climate, and I say yes, please. Next chart, please. The German decision of the Constitutional Court, was who's responsible for this decision? It's this young people. You see the source under the pictures. It's young people, and it's the next generation who will really face the problems of climate change. Next chart, please. And so just to give you an overview, what the Federal Constitutional Court of Germany said. Well, he said that the provisions of the Federal Climate Change Act from 2019, that they are incompatible with fundamental rights insofar as they lack sufficient specifications for further emissions reduction from 2031 onwards. So the court decided that the government, that the legislation wasn't good enough, and that the fundamental right, which is a position in Germany which is quite high, was violated, and therefore the decision was pronounced. I've copied in the official press release in English at the bottom, so I think this would also be interesting for the people who aren't aware, who don't know the judgment so far. Next chart, please. To work more on the legal issues, the legal topics, you find a very interesting summary of two lawyers who worked on the case. It's Dr. Roda Verheyen and Dr. Ulrich Wollenteit. So it's also in English. It's 5 pages. You found this on the German Watch internet site. I think that's also interesting for you to work after our webinar on the topics and to better understand the legal issues. Next chart, please. I've just summarized for the participants a little bit the issues I think which are important. So first, it's a question: who's able to file a complaint? Can this be individuals, association, communities, maybe states, or even companies? I think that's interesting here in the German decision. It were individuals with fundamental rights who had the right to file a complaint, and then it's a question of material law. Well, what's written in the law? Are there any provisions to protect the climate, to reduce CO2 emissions on a national, regional level? and the German court decided that the existing law violated the duties of the state. Then I think it's very interesting, how do you take this legal action? Will you go to or file your complaint concerning public law, constitutional law, or for example also civil law? For example, Rhoda Verheyen, she has also filed a complaint against RWE, and this is on the civil law basis, and they are asking for liquidated damages. That's also very interesting. So next chart, please. Yeah, and then that's question, well, against who is the complaint filed? It's a state, federal state, region, or, and that's relatively new. It can also be a corporate company. And on 26th of May, so really new, well, Royal Dutch Shell, the big oil company, was ordered to reduce 45% of its CO2 emissions by 2030. And I think that's okay to file a complaint against a state. I think everybody would say, yeah, this should be possible. But to file a complaint against a special company, I think that we were not used to it. And from a legal point, it's maybe a little more difficult, but as we see, the Dutch court decided that Royal Dutch Shell has its responsibility concerning the climate change. At the moment, the Dutch court decision isn't valid. It can be asked in another court decision. So we will see how this goes on. So it can, Royal Dutch Shell can appeal the court decision, and probably will do it. So next slide. Yeah, that's the last slide. When I prepared the webinar, I said, well, what's important? And me, as a father of two daughters, I thought about a speech which I heard in 2002 from Jacques Chirac, French president of the French Republic. Well, he wasn't that environment friendly, but in 2002 I really was surprised when the guy said at the World Summit on Sustainable Development at Johannesburg, and he started his speech with these words: "Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our house is burning down and we are blind to it." And I think that's summarizing the situation. Most people, they acknowledge climate change, and it's human-made due to the burning of fossil fuels. And the question is how we stop this. And I think on the one hand, yeah, we can think that the politicians and politics will help us, will find the solution, and I think with the last decisions in Germany and the Netherlands and also Australia, I think it becomes clear that, well, we have also to take legal action. And I think this approach is very, very interesting concerning to ask the companies to take responsibility. And yeah, and if they think that they have the right to pollute and burn our house, I would say, well, very probably we have the right to take legal action against this behavior to stop this development. Yeah, so my short summary and introduction. So next slide. So thank you for listening to me, and I'm really glad to have today very interesting people, with who we are working together from the legal working group since quite a long time. Carsten Bartol and Hartmut Kahl and Dörte Fouquet. So I would like to introduce